Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome. Today is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. My name's Jeremy. This is my first cup. I want to say good morning to Nathan, Frank, and Andrew, and all the rest of you. Who else is out there? I see more. I see bigger numbers than 3. I know there's more of you out there. Hope you're well. Good morning, Stacy. We're having a conversation about insomnia in the chat. Fortunately, something I don't face very often. Good morning, Dennis. But I can only imagine how frustrating that is. Oh, that's why the screen looks like this. Because Andrew and I recorded yesterday. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, Andrew and I recorded yesterday. He came up. It was nice to see him. And we did 3 regular Thursday episodes and some other things. We did a bunch of stuff yesterday. Some great content. We even did a bonus episode for Patreon, like a full-on bonus Andrew and I together episode for Patreon. I don't think we've ever done that before. It came out really good. If you're in Patreon, if you're in the right tiers, the bonus audio is available at $5 a month. $10 a month, you get the video. And then I ended the day with an awards team meeting. Just whistle kick all day, all day, all day. Yeah, it was pretty much whistle kick all day. It was a good day. I like those days. Good morning, Gad. Andrew's correcting me. He says, we have done it before. Well, I forgot. What else did I do yesterday? Did some work for some clients. Got a bunch of work for clients today. Got a lead on an office locally, inexpensive. So knock on wood, that works out. Because I need to spend some time working that is not here for productivity's sake. Did not take a nap. Actually, that's not true. I took a single 20-minute nap. I wanted more. I said I was going to go back to bed after the show. I did not do that. I may do that this time. We'll see. We'll see. Stacy says, I just heard the voice of Matthew McConaughey all day, all day, all day. All right, all right, all right. Good morning, Jenny. So this is where you all tell me what your day was. How was your Tuesday? What did you do? Or what are you doing today? I want to know. I want you to tell me. Tell me what's going on. What else? I'm seeing patches of bare grass in the backyard. Granted, it's under a tree, but we're getting there. It was 50 degrees yesterday. It's going to be 50 degrees today. I'm going to try to get a full inventory done on the sparring gear today. I've been putting that off for about 2 weeks because it's cold out there. I'm not upset with myself for not doing it, but it is cold out there. 50 degrees. 50 degrees will be warm enough that I will probably open the windows in the warehouse because it's probably not 50 degrees in there. It's well insulated. Good morning, Brian. Andrew taught class last night. What else? Everybody do me a favor. Hit that like, hit that thumbs up for me, please. The tea is particularly good. You know, it's interesting. It's not a combination that I would have originally thought would work well, but it makes sense in hindsight. It's a fruit tea, and I put cream in it. You ever put heavy cream or whipping cream, right? Like on frozen fruit or something is like dessert. It's great. Also great in a mug. Ray says, I'm normally up anywhere from 3 to 4 a.m. Love the morning time. So magical. Nathan's got meetings, graduating a program, then teaching away. Are you graduating students or are you graduating something? Because I feel like if you're graduating something that you're kind of burying that in there. And Ray, I agree with you. Morning is kind of magical. And I found this doesn't happen very often because how often are you pulling all-nighters as a non-college age adult? It's not common. But back when I was in school, it was one of my favorite things to see the sun come up. Now, I could kind of do that here, but, with the trees and everything, the sunrises here are generally not great. And I'm usually talking to all of you. And I'd rather talk to all of you than watch the sun come up. And I'd rather sleep than watch the sun come up. So. What else? Not a lot. Our awards meeting last night was fun, but I think more so than fun, it was pretty clear that, we did such a good job with the Never Settle Awards for year one that there's not a ton of work that has to be done, or I should say there's not a ton of refinement that has to be done for year two. And shout out to Stacy for leading the way on all that. But it's good. It's all good stuff. And I'm proud of the team. And I'm proud of the rest of the team. There's so many other things that we're doing. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. So, yeah. I don't have a lot to say. There's not a lot to go on for the chat. So let's see where the quotes take us. And this is the value of having the quotes. Thank you, as always, to Frank for our quotes. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. Thank you to Denise for our audio. Thank you to all of you for watching or listening. All right, where are we? Jenny, I think Frank heard you the other day because we've got 3 more quotes from Dolly Parton. Let's see where these bring us. The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. We seem to live in this idea that unless your life is perfect and everything's going well, that you're doing something wrong. How much control do you really have? We've talked about that we actually have tremendously little control over what goes on in our lives. But we do have complete control in how we react to it. Simple, but not easy. Let's take the example of the rainbow and the rain. If you know there's going to be a rainbow after, it's pretty easy to deal with the rain. But what if you find a way to enjoy the rain? You talk to anyone who's a gardener. They look at rain differently than those who aren't. You talk to anyone who lives in a really dry area, a desert area. The rain is a dramatically different thing for them. It's context. It's gratitude. It's how we look at these things. Now, we do this inherently in martial arts class. We know that if we have a particularly difficult class, maybe it's a lot of calisthenics or whatever it is, that there's a reward there, that maybe in the moment it's miserable, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, but we continue to go back to class because we know that it's beneficial for us. It makes us better. It's why the instructors do it. Maybe some instructors do it just because they're mean, but the vast majority do it because it benefits the students. And there's nothing wrong with recognizing that things that are difficult can be beneficial. And in fact, I would say that it is a far better way to look at things. When I was younger, we've talked about this before, But I used to really go out of my way to try to spend time with people that I looked up to or wanted to spend time around. Platonic, romantic, etc. I guess those are the only two categories. But as I've gotten older, I've realized, no, thank you. Thank you for showing me who you are so I don't waste my time with you. I've had a lot of people come and go in terms of friendships. Oh, that's how you're going to handle this? All right. And I don't make a big thing of it. I just stop talking to them. Put the ball back in their court. If they realize that they messed up, they can let me know. But I try to take things for what they are and see the value in them instead of trying to make them something that they're not. The rain has value beyond the rainbow, if we choose to look at it that way. Stacy says about last night's meeting, it was a good meeting. And luckily, until the end, no one fell out of their chairs. Thank you all for volunteering as tribute. One of the funniest groups I am part of. Dennis says, yesterday I gave up my seat on the bus for a child. Today I lost my job as a bus driver. See you, Andrew. Stacy says the best time to weed is after a rain. Maybe. I don't weed. Ugh, I hate weeding. The worst. Once I found compressed bales of straw for gardens that have had the straw cooked so the seeds don't sprout. Game changing. I use it as mulch. It's a much better mulch for a garden than than anything else I've found. I don't want to use bark mulch in my garden. I don't like using plastic or weed block cloth. I may use some weed block cloth this year on some beds. I'm going to try it because I have some. But that compressed straw, yeah, it's game changing. Gat says, the older I get, the less time I want to spend with people that don't respect me and cause me grief. As a younger lad, I was willing to wait it out. But that one about leopards and stripes is true. Let's see what we got next. A positive attitude and a sense of humor go together like biscuits and gravy. Sometimes you just have to laugh. Sometimes things are just so ridiculous or surreal or, let's face it, bad that it just defies logic. You can sit and you can be sad, you can cry, you can yell, you can throw things. Sometimes that's appropriate. Sometimes that's the best reaction, but sometimes laughter makes sense. Sometimes you just have to laugh at the insanely bad hand of cards you got dealt that round. Just say, you know what? Okay, I'll make do with this because pretty much anything other than giving in is a win. You ever had days like that? Where it's just like, hey, I survived until I went to bed. That's a win. Yeah, I think we've all had those. I keep coming back to this idea that laughter is so universal that it exists in the animal kingdom. It doesn't have a dialect. We may write it out differently in different languages, but if someone's laughing anywhere in the world, you know they're laughing. We may laugh for different reasons, but laughter is laughter. How many things are that universal? Almost nothing. Maybe even nothing. Breathing. And Frank says it, and I think we've all felt it. I'm not going to lie, there are times I have to laugh to keep from crying. Yeah. Sometimes life is brutal. There are a few things that can shake you out of where you're at faster than laughter. So if there are things that you know create that for you, that make you laugh, that bring you that joy, don't be afraid to turn to them. Whether it's stand-up comedy or a funny book, or maybe you have a friend who puts jokes together for you or knows a bunch of them, or somebody who tells stories in a real funny way. When things are rough, don't be afraid to ask for that or turn to that. Because if you're laughing, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to feel better. When you make decisions when you're in a bad place, they're not good decisions. How many of us have said, oh, I'm sad, I'm going to go eat this whole whatever, pizza, pint of ice cream, bag of chips, right? Feels better in the moment, but then when we're done, when we start to feel better, we're often regretful. I'm not saying you shouldn't eat those things, but I am saying that if you can shake yourself out of it even a little bit, maybe you make a different decision that you don't regret when you're done. Jenny says, those people you just described, the jokes and the funny stories, etc., are all found in the Whistlekick family. Yes, they are. I'm lucky I've got a whole bunch of them to turn to. What else we got here? It's when you treat people like freaks that you become one yourself. One of my least favorites of how the world did. We collectively, and I don't mean that this is necessarily any of you, I work really hard to not do it. I mess up sometimes. But to hone in on what makes people different in a negative way, to, whether we're talking about it as cancel culture or whatever. It's the same thing that we've been doing in martial arts for a very long time. Instead of celebrating our differences and finding those ways that they are beneficial and that we can learn from them, we look at them and say, ugh, this is wrong. You're wrong because you're doing this. How could you do this? Blah, 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 blah. And it's a very dismissive way to live. And why do people do it? Because if they acknowledge that there's another way that is viable, they could be acknowledging there's another way that is better. And that could mean that they have to change. And nobody wants to change. Change requires work. No, they're already perfect the way they are. It's everybody else who's wrong. Kind of defies logic, doesn't it? When I see people doing things differently, especially in martial arts, I want to learn. Why do you punch that way? Why do you kick that way? Can you teach me? Can you show me something? Everybody has something to teach. Maybe they're not teaching you how to do something. Maybe they're teaching you how not to do something. There are times that I have learned from people that I will be very direct, have far less experience and far less skill than I do. And I am skeptical that I will learn anything about how to do something. But maybe I'm learning how to teach the thing that they teach. Maybe I'm learning not the thing that they are teaching, but how they teach it. Maybe I'm learning something about their personality, their history. There's always something to learn. Why write the person off? Why write a group off? Why do that? Why wholesale discount someone because they have a particular belief or they think this way or that way, or they went to this place, or they did this thing, or they talked to that person, or they think well of this other thing over here. You cut people into enough groups and everybody's an individual. And then we're back to square one. And maybe we should just treat people like that in the first place. It's something that I'm working to remind myself of. There's a temptation. Most of you know that I've been spending some time on TikTok. It's a platform that I think we have an opportunity for growth. I'm getting actually decent engagement on there. I put up a couple videos yesterday. A lot of people are resonating with our messages on there, and that's great. And so I continue to make that effort. But the simplest content to make is critical. I see people that have large followings, much larger followings, putting up videos where it's clear that here's one that always gets me. When someone kicks high and they have to bring their head forward, what does that tell me? That they have a flexibility issue, that they're kicking higher than they should, right? Now that I've told you about it, you'll see it all over the place. It's most people when they kick high, but with something in the front plane, interior plane, front kicks, basically. Most people, when they do a high front kick, they have to round forward a little bit because they don't have the flexibility to actually do it. You could get the Flex program, either the kind of DIY or the email series for free and fix it. But most people won't. And I have to check myself sometimes. Like, yes, I could respond to this person's video. I could do this. I could put this content up. But at the end, I want to make sure not only am I expressing what I do in a positive way, but that it is received in a positive way. I'm trying to create positivity. And the conversation that comes from what I post or anything that we do, I want it to be as positive as possible. Constructive is positive. It's also possible. Sometimes we forget that. And there was a video I posted yesterday, and it was on the line. And I recorded it like 4 times because I was trying to get the tone right, because I wanted to make sure that it was being critical of an element of somebody else's video. And fortunately, that person saw the value in what I did, and they were appreciative. Great. Awesome. It's interesting. People don't think I'm as old as I am, so they don't realize how long I've been training, and my experience doesn't always come through because I don't give myself a big title, and I don't wear stripes on my belt, and I don't brag about how long I've been training because it really doesn't matter that much, other than I've seen some stuff and it gives me context. And people forget context matters. So I feel like I'm rambling now. Stacy says, continue to flood the clock with positivity. And I think that she's making a pun, TikTok. So pun received. Gad says, had a really bad day at work on Monday, really bad. But in the evening, I went to Taekwondo class and it gave me positive energy again. Worked twice as hard. It seemed awesome. Jenny says, I had pretty decent front kicks, and I'm finding benefit from the Flex program. Try it, y'all. Yeah. 10 minutes a day. Free. There's no more excuses. Anybody who is not doing that and complaining about their flexibility actually doesn't want to get more flexible. That's the truth. Or I should say, it is not a high enough priority to take action. And I get that. There are a lot of things I want to do. They are not high priorities to me. There's only so many hours in the day. I thank you all for coming by. Thank you for your continued support of this show, of Whistlekick, of me, of each other. I hope you have a great day. And yeah, I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to go lay back down for another probably 90 minutes. because I'm sleepy. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Peace.